Twinblast is a changed man, so it's only right my first build and guide on Monolith goes to him. I had a blast playing Twinblast on Monolith. He's got a great kit, although his dash does kinda suck, but he's still so satisfying to play, especially with crit chance and lifesteal, something I've missed since he got nerfed on Legacy. This build was made by Narendra. This wonderful man does the math that most of us would struggle to understand, and he optimized this build for me so that 1, it curves well, and 2, it outputs the most DPS as well as giving you lifesteal to stay alive. But to do all this means you sacrifice a blink card and wards. Now wards aren't that big of a deal to sacrifice as long as you have a support in your lane who should be warding for you, but if you decide that you must have wards, then you could always swap out a card for it. The same goes for if you want a blink card. I didn't really take blink charm on my carries, mainly because blink shot was disabled and I really like blink shot, but I personally prefer raw stats and relying on my positioning, but this may change when I play Monolith more, but I did extremely well with this build and so I have no issues sharing it with you guys. Now let's get straight to the build. You want the Arc Magus as your prime card, then Bump Juice, a cast token, and then Hunter's Drink. Bump Juice is actually really good now because you get 85 health instantly, while a health potion gives you 6 health per second for 15 seconds or 90 health over 15 seconds. So it's obvious to me which is better. You can swap out your Hunter's Drink when you get level 6 or higher because at that point you're getting 108 health over 15 seconds, but you may or may not need it depending on if you have your lifesteal yet. We then have a Madstone gem with 3 minor casts, a Redeye Nitro with a vicious kinetic and 2 major wounds. Next is 2 identical branded Ironeaters with 3 lesser drains. Now you might not have this many lesser drains, so you can fill it with minor cards in the worst case, or alternatively you can take out 1 brand of the Ironeater for a ward. Impact Hammer is our next card. We have 2 of these, both are identical again with 3 major casts in each. Next we have 2 micro nukes, again these are identical with 3 minor casts in each. You might be thinking, I can't build this because that's a shitload of minor casts. Just remember that minor casts and minor strikes are exactly the same now. They both offer the same amount of power and both can be equipped on Twinblast, so you can put minor strikes or minor casts into a micro nuke. Blast Harness is our final card for that all important crit bonus. We have a brutal kinetic or major kinetic, and then a kinetic and minor kinetic, and that's everything. The build order is as follows. We start with Bump Juice and our Madstone gem. Once we maxed out our Madstone gem, we then move on to our cheap micro nukes. Once both the micro nukes are maxed out, I then like to take Brand of the Ironeater, just because when I farm the jungle the minions hurt quite a bit, so having that lifesteal means you don't have to recall and can head right back to lane. Once I'm level 8, I'll sell my Bump Juice for a Hunter's Drink, although with lifesteal you might decide you don't need a potion at all and just go for more raw points. That's perfectly okay. My next card is Impact Hammer. Once that is maxed out, you can either get your next Impact Hammer or your Redeye Nitro. I take my Redeye Nitro here because I like the extra crit chance, and once that's maxed out, I go for my final Impact Hammer, selling my Micro Nuke. I can then either go for another brand of the Ironeater or Blast Harness, but I like the crit bonus, so I've got the Blast Harness next. I sell my Micro Nuke to allocate space for that. Finally, my Madstone gem is the last card to go and is replaced by my final brand of the Ironeater. Your positioning on Monolith is more important than ever. Carries saw a nerf to their health pool and we don't build any defensive stats, so the build does rely on good positioning. You'll often see me sitting behind my team, letting my frontline heroes soak up the majority of the damage, especially in the earlier stages of the game. The problem here is that you don't want to be too far back to the point that you're not doing any damage, but you also want to try and stay alive, so finding that balance is something that comes with practice. In the laning phase, you want to be focusing on last hits and the gold buff. You can keep the lane near your tower in the safe lane, depriving the enemy offlaner of CP and XP, so that once you get your power spike, it's basically easy kills, and from there you can use that to snowball. If you find you have any downtime in the lane where the minion wave is at the enemy team's tower, you can just jump into the jungle and grab some farm. Something you have to do in Monolith is rotate. Getting kills is worth a lot more CP than you currently get from a wave, so if you can get kills, you can get ahead. But if you can get kills and farm your lane, most of the time rotating only when necessary, you can get extremely far ahead. Now it may seem strange what I'm about to say, but just listen to the reason behind it. You ideally don't want to take your tower too early, even though you probably could easily. This is because you want to maximize your farm and time with the gold buff. If you push their tier 1 tower too early, the wave is most likely going to sit on their side of the map, and that means dangerous farm for you, and you probably won't end up maximizing the gold buff. On the other hand, if you're the type of player that likes to rotate and you're comfortable that you're going to secure a lot of kills, then take the enemy's tower and rotate and come back to your lane when the wave is pushing towards your tower. Twinblast's ultimate is completely brand new, and so the way you use it is completely different. Previously you would just use it on a closer target, but his new ultimate is actually better on targets further away. I noticed it was a bit more difficult hitting targets closer to you, especially with everyone being that much faster. But I use it here to secure the kill on Severog and Steel, who are both out of auto attack range, and that's what I found Twinblast's ultimate was good at, killing heroes who are low and out of reach. Oh, it's also great for stealing or prime. And that's all folks. I played a lot of different heroes on Monolith so I can cover all the builds, and that means my guide parts are shorter than usual, but in the future we should get back to more in-depth guides. I do however feel this is a fantastic starting point for Twinblast. I mean, we played 5v5 diamond games a lot of the time and we did fantastically. Just remember, your positioning is key, secure the gold buff and the raptor camps, farm and rotate. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, smash that thumbs up button. Let me know what hero you'd like to see next, or if you have any feedback for the guides, please do let me know in the comment section below. Until next time guys, peace.